Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking with Ryan and Seth Peak with Peak Painting. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey,
Thanks
how's
for coming
it going?
on.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning it is.
Yes, it is.
Right? So tell me, what's going on with Peak Painting? I see your guys' signs all over the North County. Who wants to take the lead on this?
What's going on with it?
Yeah, what it's all about?
We're in our 7th year here on the Central Coast. Opened up shop in 2019. Got my contractor's license then. And just been growing the company and servicing people with a smile and making it easy for people to get their house painted. Everybody wants to have the most beautiful house on the block, and we help them do it.
So, brothers, couple years separate, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, hold on. Older.
Older, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 2 years and some change.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 39, Ryan's 37.
So, growing up, you seem like more of the scrapper growing up. Were you more of the scrapper growing up? Maybe it's the beard. The beard is kind of giving me a scrapper vibe.
I don't know. I feel like I would sometimes instigate stuff, but then it was also our older sister.
You got an older sister too? Okay.
She would get us riled up, and then there would be a punching match, socking each other in the arm or whatever. All fun stuff, fun games. But
Now, 3 siblings?
4.
Oh.
We're sandwiched 2 sisters, younger sister, older sister.
Okay, so the younger sister, she's the youngest.
Yeah.
So she's the scrapper.
She's the baby. She was 8 years after Ryan, so she kind of was raised, like half of her older childhood, she was kind of an only child, right?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So what brought you guys to the North County, to Atascadero, to make, Peak Painting and everything that you guys are, because you also have real estate too, right?
Yeah.
So Seth moved here a while back. Well, you could take that, and then I'll.
Yeah, 13 years ago this summer, I moved here from San Diego. We're from San Diego. I moved here 13 years ago, just looking for somewhere new to live. You're 26 years old, like. It's time to check something else out. I graduated from San Diego State. I was living in a beach town in San Diego, and my buddy lived up here, and so I just decided to come check it out. That was honestly the reason. No other reason other than just the opportunity.
I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, you're kind of beach townish, I guess, inland a little bit.
Yeah.
Your beach is, 15, 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
You got the mountains 15, 20 minutes away.
Sure.
You got the lakes 15, 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in San Diego, we could be we grew up in Claremont Mesa, which is just like east of La Jolla and Pacific Beach. And it's closer to the beach than we are here and could take just as long to get there because of the traffic and stoplights and beach traffic. So honestly, it takes me 20 minutes to drive to the beach here from my house in Atascadero, and it could take 20 minutes to drive just a couple miles in San Diego to the beach on a Saturday, so it's all relative.
So Seth, you came up here 13 years ago, but what about you, Ryan?
2 years ago this July. So Seth and I were talking for about a year about me coming up and joining the company. I was looking for a career shift at the time, and so I have 3 kids, so it was like kind of a bigger move, had to really think about it, but made the move July 23. And really love it. We're here in Templeton. We're right off Main Street. Kids are in the school district here and everything. We like it a lot up here.
So you were also in the San Diego area, La Jolla?
Serra Mesa is where we had our house, but we grew up in Claremont, like Seth was saying.
Ryan bought our grandma's house. The house my mom grew up in, Ryan bought that house. And
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Right here in Templeton. I mean, it's hard to get into Templeton.
Yeah.
So had a little family. And so what were you doing before you came up here? You mentioned
I was the operations manager for Mike Hess Brewing, a brewery down in San Diego. There was 1 location in Walnut Creek, but then 5 locations in San Diego. And it was a fun career. It was a cool industry to be in, being in the brewing industry. Met a lot of cool people. It's really cool to talk about beer with people. People are like, "Oh, you do beer? Oh, cool. Let's talk about that." But
do you think the brewing industry has peaked yet?
Yeah, it definitely was peaking. So I left almost 3 years ago, and it was peaking, and a lot of breweries in San Diego were kind of closing their doors and everything because we were at 160 breweries in San Diego, and it was like it was the top producing city in the U.S. as far as beer goes. So I
mean,
think
it's a big population.
It was
I
a
think it's-
microbrew like haven for a decade and a half. You know,
Yeah,
it was like the
for
most
sure.
popular place for new breweries.
Yeah.
You got like Stone Breweries in Escondido. That was like the biggest, in the beginning, you know?
Ballast Point,
Port Brewing.
Carl Strauss, Port Brewing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you think we're on the downhill slide, or at least the plateaued part
I think
of...
it kind of plateaued, and now I can't speak for this area because I'm not in the industry anymore, so I don't know how it is up here, but it just seemed like it plateaued in San Diego. And it became harder and harder to sell like the newest IPA or like the newest lager in the industry when it's just saturated with
Well, it
beer.
doesn't seem like new wineries are opening much here, too. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's like it was 10 years ago when I first moved here. It was like bang, 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 bang.
Right.
Now
It
it's
was
just kinda
interesting because they're closing, but yet
Yeah.
they're opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're opening, tasting rooms.
It's a
and-
net zero growth. It's like closing and opening.
Exactly. It's like you
Yeah.
lose one, you gain one.
Yeah.
And it's like it's probably like the same thing with beer. It's like, what's the difference? It's like, oh, we got the grapes from the south side or the west side, or we grow them in peanut oil.
Yeah.
Or something weird. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So you came up here. Now you didn't have any experience in painting.
Well, so it is the family trade. Our
Yeah.
dad and uncle started Peak Brothers Painting in San Diego in 1981. And so off and on, like in my teenage years, I painted for a year or so with my dad. Then I got back into it briefly. And then I actually, leaving the brewing industry, I was like, all right, I need to get back into the trade for a little bit. So I worked with my dad for 6 months before moving up here, just to get my hands back in the painting industry.
Because we were bringing up, Ryan's coming up here to be operations manager for the company. He's not moving up here and here's a brush, go paint some houses for me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? He's coming in as an owner, operations manager. So getting back in the field for a little bit. Our dad and uncle had Peak Brothers Painting since 1981, and they were a similar sized company as ours at one point, 18 painters or so with some office staff and salespeople. But, my dad in 2006, before the recession, he went back to like just running a simple crew and sold his half of the company to Uncle John. And so it was good for Ryan to go and kind of see the operation, how the painting, before he moved up here, it was kind of strategic that way. So when coming up here, it's very fresh in his mind. It's not just like a whole new industry. Because if you're good at operations like he was at the brewery, or you're good at operations anywhere in any sort of company, you can do operations. I mean, it's scheduling, it's efficiencies, it's inventory, it's HR.
Right.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can plug and play as long as you have the people, the skilled craftspeople to do the work. You can transfer those skills anywhere, really.
Now, do you guys do mostly residential or commercial or both? Or
Mostly residential.
70% residential.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do HOAs. A commercial would be B2B, like property management to us, HOAs to us. We're doing the inside of an architecture firm in SLO right now. Not a whole lot of brand new tilt up, like not big box stores or big commercial like that. But, dentist office, HOAs, office buildings, interior offices, standard stuff like that. Yeah.
so,
But
Seth,
residential is like our bread and butter because
Definitely.
there's more of a need for that mostly, And the Central Coast, anywhere from Santa Maria up to like Oak Shores, we even work out in Parkfield sometimes on some houses out there. That's our breadth. That's how far we go, and we take care of a lot of homeowners. I think we do 250 to 300 projects a year.
wow.
Yeah.
So you primarily try to stay in the North County.
We
Kinda.
no, we don't, because we actually have team leaders and we have a foreman who lives in Santa Maria, so he does 5 city jobs. We do a lot of jobs in SLO in 5 cities. We like the whole county. I would say we probably advertise the most San Luis to Morro Bay to Cayucas to North County. In 5 cities is just a reflection of referrals and word of mouth and people like telling their friends down there. But we do focus our marketing efforts from SLO to the coast and up. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so if somebody wanted to reach out, get some information, get some bids, where would they go, Ryan?
The website would be the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, because you could just click, you could book your appointment through the website. You just plug in your name, your address, what we're painting, just basic info, and then you lock in a time on the calendar, and then Eric, our sales rep, shows up at your house at that time.
We guarantee if you go on our website and you look at our calendar that you'll have an appointment available in the next 48 hours. That's our
Whoa.
guarantee. So if you want a price to paint your house, Randy, and you looked on our website, it's not going to say the exact time you want it's going to be available, but there will be a time slot between now and the next 48 hours. And if there's not, you call the office, and one of us will come out and we'll fill that gap, because we guarantee a quote within 48 hours. We will have an appointment available.
Wow, that's a big
business
statement,
hours.
man.
Because if you call, how many times have you gone and you got a contractor come to your house and you're waiting like a week later, you have to remind them that they were there and that they owe you a price. Hey, I want to buy something. How much does it cost? Well, let me go back to my office and pencil it out and figure it out for a while. It's all about math. You measure a house, the texture, if it's stucco, if it's hardy, no matter what, T111, there's a process and a production rate for everything. And we measure it and we give you the price.
So before they leave, they're giving you a price that day?
95% of the time.
Okay.
The other 5% if it's something really funky,
right?
And we want some feedback. Maybe Eric, or he'll come back and be like, hey, Ryan, what do you think about this? Is weird. Like, how do you think we're going to paint this? Should we get a scissor lift? Or that's going to be the 5%, the funky ones.
Okay.
But a standard, like your house, your studio, it would be like about a 30 to 1 hour appointment, 30 minutes to 1 hour appointment. And we'd be going, here's your price. It's a quote, no bait and switch, unless you want to upgrade something.
How does people land on color? I mean, are they already set on color, or they just make it the same color, we just want a new?
A lot of the time they'll look and see what's popular. Like you can go on to Sherwin-Williams, that's the primary painting company that we use, our paint producer that we use. And they'll be like, oh, you should use alabaster with accessible beige, or something like that. And people will be like, all right, yeah, that looks good. That's what they're promoting. But then sometimes people want more in-depth color consults, so then we'll get involved and show up at their house and go over all the different colors, kind of what realm they're looking for, and go around and figure out a color that way.
Some people really enjoy picking out the exact color they want, but I would say 30% of the people just like, tell me what I should have.
Yeah.
And then that's perfectly fine. If you want to be obsessed about the green screen color you have on your wall over there, we can pick 10 different greens and we can play around with them. We can go as deep down the rabbit hole as you want. But we paint 25 to 300 projects a year. So if you tell us like we want a medium kind of beigeish gray and we want a nice off white for the trim, here are two options. Which one do you like? That one. Perfect. It's going to look great. I mean, we do this every day. So it's like if you go to the barber and you're just like, do what you will,
Right.
Make me look good. You know what I mean? It's just like some people like to give it in our hands and just steer them a little bit. And some people like that extra touch. And we do have a designer. Ryan's wife, Erin, is a designer, both graphic and interior design. And so we'll send her there at a different fee rate.
Oh, to give a little feedback as far as
Or to bring
color-wise?
sample cards and everything,
She'll bring her whole designer booklet with her and go over different layouts. Yeah. She could give them examples based on furniture, and it's just a more in-depth.
Yeah, okay. That's just an
color
added
consult.
fee.
Yeah, that's
Oh, nice.
That's an added cost if someone wants that.
But if someone just wants some direction, I mean, Ryan or myself will come out and bring a fan deck and help you pick out colors. Mm-hmm. But usually it's 80% of the time it's a painless process. It just depends on how complicated the homeowner wants to make it.
What are some of the hot colors right now? They kind of change to go to pastels to, whites or creams or.
It's all off whites.
Oh, really?
Different types of whites. Like people want to go monochrome on their entire house, so they'll just pick one white on their entire house, all the same color sheen. Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll change the sheen. They'll go flat on the body of the house, satin on the trim, but it's all the same white.
So it's more kind of like neutral tones.
Yeah. Or like the gray beige mixture, the gray brown mixture. It's called greige. I don't know if that's a real dictionary word. We call it greige. It's like, think taupe with some gray in it, right? That is a huge like window of opportunity. And you even see it when you go to the makeup store. All the women's like the taupes and like all these weird it seems like a popular thing just in culture is like greige, like you see kids, they're all wearing like off-white and tan clothes. It's just like this thing.
Right.
So it translates to paint as well. But interior, like the up-and-coming thing is what you call color drenching. So where you might even have like a bold color, like a green, if it's like a stately house, the ceiling, walls, and trim will all be green. And then the furniture will be like the pop. Mm-hmm. If you have like a regular house, someone might say, like Ryan said, monochrome, color drench it all white, monochrome, the same color. Might all be alabaster from Sherwin-Williams, trim, doors, walls, alabaster. That's not necessary. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a cheap paint job. It's all one color. We're still using like emerald paint on the trim. We're still using high-grade paints, cashmere on the walls. but it's the idea of the monochrome is just what's in style. Yeah.
Have you ever like tried to persuade somebody from going with a color that
yeah.
you're just like going, oh, really?
Yes.
Because obviously, even though that they make the decision,
Yes.
it falls back on you guys as the contractor for some reason, even though that they said no.
Yeah.
Said, Ryan, I want this color. And you're
Yeah.
like, it's going to look bad.
Yeah.
And then, where'd you get this? Oh, it's peak painting.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like, no,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
You always have to have like a
Have you had
disclosure.
that happen recently?
Yeah, with like navy blue,
Yeah,
doing an
that's
entire
'cause-
house in navy blue.
Because it
it's
can
like,
turn purple.
It's this is very bold. It's like it's a very bold.
Is this a
statement.
house that's in a Atascadero? That's recent?
Well, we've done a few.
We've done a few, yeah. I don't want to name exactly where the house is.
Because if you're talking a navy blue house, I'm thinking this in my head of where exactly.
Yeah.
So
this-
navy blue, there's difference. There's like
yeah, there's
navy
like
blue, like
Yeah.
slate navy blue. This
Yeah.
is like a stately, historic color,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if
But
you
then
got
there's
like
like
navy
the bright.
blue with some royalness to it, where it's
Yeah.
like you put it on the entire house in the sun, it looks purple.
That's what I guess that's more the route I'm
looks
going. Like that
periwinkle.
royal blue. It's like the bright navy blue.
Yeah.
That's like
But
it's
Hale
a
Navy,
lot
like
on a
the
house.
most popular ones, like Hale Navy, like Benjamin Moore Hale Navy, it looks like it looks like a peacoat. It's dark, it's rich, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. But if you're doing like some Royal Navy, some English Navy, it's like periwinkle undertones, and it just looks pretty gnarly in the sun. It looks like it's purple.
Because you drive around Atascadero, you see some pretty interesting house choice colors.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was this person thinking?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that because city has ordinance as far as for sign ordinance, you know. I mean, it seems like they have an ordinance for everything.
Yeah.
Do they not have an ordinance for the color of your
No.
bright?
Unless it's
blue.
an HOA, but yeah. Otherwise, you can paint your house
Like
whatever
Dove
you want.
Creek has a big HOA. They have like 5 schemes you can pick from. There's certain neighborhoods that you have to have a scheme. I don't know. We don't have a lot of HOAs in Atascadero. There's probably more in Paso than there are in Templeton than there are in Atascadero. A lot of uniqueness in Cambria too. A lot of uniqueness in Cambria. The
I
houses
think
can
Cambria,
be
as
very
in
unique.
a general form, is unique.
The architecture, everything's
Right.
very unique, and a lot of prep out there, a lot of wood rot because of the moisture and everything. But we don't want to take anybody's creativity away from them. And if someone wants to do something, and we never say this is going to look bad, but we might say this will look a lot more intense when it's on the entire house versus a little card.
Right.
And here's a little bigger sample. So we'll steer them, but I'm never going to tell somebody like, oh, your dream to have your house this color sucks.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very.
I usually will be like,
Probably
let's
not
get
very
some
customer
samples,
servicey.
and
Well,
I'll
it's-
brush some samples up on the wall for you, and we'll do like a big
Yeah.
like 3x3 section on different areas of the wall, so they could kind of
Yeah.
visualize it. Then
But what's subjective? If I think something's bad, doesn't mean everybody else is going to think
Totally.
so. I'm
Yeah.
wearing a yellow jacket. Okay?
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, who's going to wear a yellow jacket? Not everybody
Right.
wants to wear, like, I typically will wear, like, a little bit, a little bit different flair than other people. It doesn't mean that it's ugly. It just means that it's what I
Yeah,
like.
exactly. I mean, and I was going to say that earlier. Is sometimes like you get finished with a project and you go, oh, but then you're like, hey, this looks awesome, doesn't it? And they're like, yes, it's exactly what I wanted. You're like, cool.
Yeah.
Have they ever said, this is not the color that I wanted?
Yeah.
Have you had that before?
Yes,
that happens.
And we've repainted houses.
yeah,
Really?
we've
Yeah,
had to redo.
they'll pay us to repaint it because they know they picked the color.
So they blew it. They're like, this is not what I was
It's not.
envisioning.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
But also, if we make a mistake, or the paint mixer like Sherwin-Williams or Terra Paints, if they make a mistake, they will pay for the mistake, or we will pay for it. So we've done it to where like we've told them it's like sage, or clary sage, or clear sage, or sage springtime, or like all these words, all these colors with the word sage in it, and maybe we go and order the paint, and we order the wrong code by a couple shades because it has the word sage in it because there was some sort of translation error on our end, and we'll go, you're right. All right, we'll go buy more paint, and we stay for 3 more days and repaint the house. And we've done that a couple times, not very often. That's why we're very sure, like when we take a color order, we have it in writing. That this is the color they chose. Here's the email from the customer.
it's put into our job
Here's
board.
the form.
Yeah.
Gosh, because you're really at the mercy of Sherwin-Williams that mixes paint correctly.
Yeah.
Because as you're, pouring it in, or they're pouring it in, you're going, because it could change a little bit of color density and
It could also
shades,
range on
right?
product types too. Like you get the little sample quart, And then when they scale it up to 5 gallons of emeralds,
There's more resin in it, so it's going to have a richer color.
it sometimes will be subtly different. And I had this happen recently on a job where it was just subtly different, but it was enough where the customer noticed and they held the swatch up. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I contacted the rep. They covered the cost on everything, and we repainted the whole room for them.
Yeah.
So
they cover your guys' costs too?
Yeah,
or
they'll
just-
cover
We'll
the
tell them
labor.
how many out.
Yep.
I mean, we don't want to encourage this because we don't want to
Yeah.
But if there's a problem that's their issue,
if it's a clear mistake,
they've always reimbursed us our hourly, like what it cost us to run the job, in credit. Like they'll just credit our account.
Right.
Because I mean, we purchased a lot of paint from Sherwin-Williams, so the credit goes a long way, and it's an even trade, you know. And it's good because they'll always, they'll always stand up to their quality, just like we're always going to stand up to our quality, because we're warranting our exteriors 9 years. So if something peels or caulking splits in 9 years, yeah, we'll come out and fix it. You know, we're not going to repaint the whole house if there's a small area that's fading, but we'll fix that area for sure.
Okay.
100%.
So you have a 9-year warranty.
Yeah, because a house should last 8 to 10 years. A house paint job should last that long. So it just makes sense to have the warranty at that time frame, because if something's failing prematurely, like we did a house, a warranty job. The house was like 3 years old. The south-facing fascia was just peeling. I mean, you're in south-facing Atascadero in the sun. And it's a darker color. It's just gonna take a beating, you know. So we'll go there. We're standing down. We paint it. Spend a couple hours there. All right. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. If it happens in a couple of years, sure, we'll come back. It's part of our promise that we're gonna stick by our paint job for 9 years.
What about interiors? Do you guys do any of the moving stuff before you paint? Do they ever ask you, is that what you're gonna do?
it comes up. Typically, we request that they move all the furniture to the middle of the room, or if they want to completely clear the place out, some people will hire movers and just clean their place out and put it on storage containers. But as long as they're moving stuff away from the walls, we deal with some customers that, you know, older customers or people that just can't lift things, and we'll do it for them. We'll just be like, oh, you know, leave the big stuff. Our guys will move it for you. But we do try and encourage people to
remove the
their own
art,
furniture.
remove the bric-a-brac, the
We just don't want to be
breakables,
liable
the
for it.
the customer's
Right.
pictures, their little statues.
Yep.
But like if it's like, hey, there's an entertainment center, we can put it on sliders and move it because they're not strong enough or they don't have anybody to help them do it. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're not gonna tell them, sorry, we can't paint your house till you move that thing. You know.
Yeah.
So we'll do what
Yeah.
needs to get done.
Now, do you find after like COVID, you know, the years afterwards, now everybody's just trying to upgrade, you know, their homes as far as like spruce them up
Yeah.
instead of moving, instead of trying to, you know, obviously we live in, you know, the North County, which, you know, has had an influx of people moving into this area over the, you know, last 5-10 years or whatever. But, you know, the home pricing instead of the building, you know, obviously dirt's not readily available. Houses are, you know, there's a lot of fixers up, especially at Atascadero. You know, Atascadero, I keep thinking this when I was born and raised. I was born and raised in Atascadero, and Atascadero isn't that old as far as like the town and the homes and like the, you know, other than the, you know, the big buildings, you know, that kind of stuff. But I mean, as far as the homes, I mean, because Seth, you're also have something to do with the city of Atascadero, correct?
Yeah, city council.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're also, so you have a little bit of that history as far as like Atascadero homes and like, I mean, what do you think, like the 30s?
I think most of the houses
20s?
were built after 75. I think a lot of them are
Really?
like built in the early 80s. You got like the hills behind the high school. They're all like T111 or stucco, and they're rough stucco 1980s style. I mean, you have all the colony homes. So like you go through the neighborhoods and you'll have a hillside, like off Traffic Way, the different hills, Spaghetti Hills, what it's called. All the streets that come together. There's like a colony home on like every couple acres, and in between all those colony homes, all the parcels have been subdivided over the years. There's some divisions, like the last house I lived in was built in 1960, and there's 6 of them in a row. I think a lot of Atascadero was built in the 70s and after, like a lot of the houses we see. I mean, Dove Creek was built in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. You know, all the houses behind La Paloma. You've got like the condos, like Chalk Mountain, they're all from the 80s, right? You have a lot of the west side, basically anything up in the hills. A lot of that is after the 80s. Some of it's in the 80s. So I think that, you know, the houses aren't very old. So you don't have a lot of like the old houses like you see in downtown Paso or downtown Slow.
Right.
But yeah.
So when you look at like the homes nowadays, like we were talking about exterior, you have a 9-year warranty. I'm assuming that is the same for the interior.
Yeah,
as well.
But
you don't really have any
you don't have
wear
any
and tear
issues
on
in
that.
Even so you can go 20 years with a paint job inside of a house.
Yeah.
It's more people wanting to change the color on the inside of the house.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So Ryan, when you moved up here, and what was your first impression of the North County Tascadero area compared to living down in San Diego?
Well, we moved here on July 3rd, and we're right off Main Street in Templeton. And so the next day, we're like, what's going on? This is crazy.
Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah. We were like, this is amazing. Like, this is so cool. It's like Americana, a small town, American Graffiti kind of style, a movie we watched as kids. But we really enjoyed it, like, right out the gate. We're like, this is going to be great. The kids are going to love this. And they started making friends, and,
Templeton's kind of like that old way of growing up, and I don't know how you guys grew up down there, but growing up here is like, the sun was up, all right, you got on your bicycle, you took off, and you got back home before it was dark.
Yeah.
That's how we grew up.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how our
kinda
neighborhood
like
is. Yeah, our neighborhood's like, there's a lot of kids, so especially during the summertime, I get home from work and it's like, open up your garage doors, neighbors are coming out, kids are just riding their bikes everywhere. It's great. We love it. And San Diego is a little more, we're in San Diego, we left shortly after COVID, 2023. But through all that time in our neighborhood, it was kind of, not all the neighbors were talking and stuff. I would always be out there hanging out, but not everyone was as neighborly. But here, it's totally different.
Right? Everybody's like,
yeah, exactly.
Hey, man, I got a 12-pack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I always like to talk about, you guys are local. I like to, talk about businesses, here in our area. What are some of your go-to places? Seth, I know the Nest is one in Atascadero that you like to
He's
go
there
to.
all the time.
I eat there 3 days a week.
He has a picture on the wall of him. Like,
No, they
right,
don't. No, they don't.
Oh, like, do they?
right above the mantle. Like a big one.
I was there this morning with my Bible study every Wednesday morning. I go there if we're having a business lunch. We went there yesterday with our friends from Fresh Paint, another painting company in Slow that we network with, Jim and Alicia. And so we were at lunch with them yesterday. Sometimes I go with my gym buddies after the gym on Friday mornings, or on the weekend I'll go there like either before church or after church with my wife. I'm there. Like I definitely would say it's probably one of the best businesses in North County. Yeah, for sure. And definitely in Atascadero.
You're like the Norm from Cheers.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because they always, right? Let me tell you how my lunch went. I met them and I was outside. They're just like, they're like, is this where you want to sit? You're meeting Seth? Okay. So you have a special spot.
No.
There. And he got regular
like,
silverware.
Seth's not going to be happy with this spot.
I had plastic forks. They give him the regular
So
silverware.
they have the plastic cups for outside seating so they don't break. But since we moved inside, I got a glass, and you had your plastic Coke cup.
Yeah.
And it was like, Seth got the glass, and you got the plastic Coke. It was funny.
Yeah. But no, like I said, the food has always been awesome there. I think they've been there for like 10 years, I think, maybe.
I don't think that long. I think just
coming close
before COVID, right? Maybe 2017, 18.
Yeah, it's definitely
know.
A go-to spot.
If you're
he's
listening,
busy.
Stacy, you let Randy know.
Yeah.
Let me know, I guess, next time I see you.
Ryan, what about you? What is some of those? Do you go to the Nest too?
Yeah, from time to time. But
He gets tired of it. I'm like, let's go to the Nest. He's like, let's go somewhere else, dude.
yeah. McPhee's.
Yeah.
We got 3 kids, so my wife and I randomly will get date nights. Have Seth actually watched them recently, so we could go out. But McPhee's, I go to Templeton Market all the time. It's like almost every morning. I stop by there.
Are you saying the chicken strips?
Yeah.
Chicken strips and Mojos?
The kids love those.
Chicken strips
Chicken
and
strips
Mojos.
with the
Those are
honey
Templeton
mustard.
kids.
Yeah. Corn dogs,
yeah.
And the breakfast burritos, it's all good. And that's actually something that you don't find in a big city. It's like, well, you see it on the East Coast. They call them bodegas, where they have like the setup where you can get chicken strips and all the stuff. But moving here, I was like, all this inside a gas station? All right, this is interesting, but it's actually really good food.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best.
Yeah.
Like you said, the breakfast burritos on Saturday.
Yeah.
Those things are sold out like before most people wake up.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say I'm a big coffee person too, and I would say Joe Bella or Malibu. I go there a lot, Malibu Coffee or Joe Bella Coffee Roasters. And I have to give them a shout out because I'm there once a day. My real estate office is just down the street from Joe Bella, so I'll walk my dog down there like at 1 p.m. for a afternoon pick me up, cold brew, and Juan does a really good job with Joe Bella.
Have you had his when he roasts them in the whiskey barrels?
I've tasted it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It's
I think
delicious.
they brewed it. They had it on in the French press. I like them because they make the coffee in the French press, so they serve the coffee. It's not drip. Nothing wrong. I make drip at home, and nothing wrong with making drip. But it's interesting at Joe Bella because the regular coffee they serve is big French presses. It's just rich. You taste like every facet of the coffee.
Especially like when you get those, like I said, when he does. I mean, I'm a favorite when he does the roasting or the soaking in the wine barrels or the whiskey barrels or bourbon barrels. You can really taste it.
Yeah.
But you don't get drunk.
You go to the Cheval, one in Cheval or the one in A-Town? Because they have the one
Cascadero.
Okay, they do, yeah. And the one in Slow, they opened that old service station on South Higuera. Used to be another coffee shop. It's on South Higuera and Archer Street. And it's this coolest little old 1930s, 40s gas station, and it rolls up. Really nice in there. It's Joe Bella in San Luis Obispo. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, we're talking about coffee. You guys had just had Dutch Brothers open up. I don't really understand the whole draw yet. I just went there yesterday for the first time.
It's the Pebble Ice. People love the Pebble Ice.
That's the draw.
And the Nitro Cold Brew is pretty good.
And the dessert coffees.
Yeah,
they're
it's
more,
like a sugar coffee shop.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a blended coffee shop. It's like the juice bar of coffee shops.
Okay, so that's where the draw's at.
Yeah, people want they're nice. They're like, I would say this, like, Joe Bella is like coffee purists, and Dutch Brothers is like, let's have fun with this drink and see what we can make.
Make some extra stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday when I went there for the first time just to see what all the hype was about. I never made it. Matter of fact, Eric, my partner, asked me, he goes, hey, what did you get? I said, I just asked for coffee because I never made it to the menu. Because the gal was out in the street, out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you want? I'm like, coffee.
That happened the first time I went too. I was like, well, what do you have?
Right?
I guess I'll take a cold brew. I don't know.
It works at In-N-Out because there's 4 things on the menu. So
Exactly.
They walk up to your car and it's like, what do you want? You're like, number 2.
Right? That's
Grilled
why it's so
onions.
successul.
Yeah.
They've mastered the burgers and the fries, you know?
Yeah.
But so what about winery? Do you guys like to go to the wineries? I mean, you were in the brewing industry. Do you like to go to breweries here?
Yeah. We like to go to Vin 2. We're actually members at Vin 2, but primarily because of the concerts that they do at Vin 2 every Friday during the summer.
Kids can run around.
Yeah, the kids can run around. We can sip on wine, listen to music. It's a cool spot. And it's here in Templeton, so it's easy to get to.
Now, the owner, is it Nick, the pairing at Vin 2?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the.
Oh, Vin 2. Vin 2's out
Las
Las
Tablas.
Tablas.
Yeah.
Okay.
EUX, Vento, EUX.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
means wind. I think wind in French or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
Vin 2.
breeze.
We used to have football practice there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
back.
they have a big yard out there.
Yeah, right there in the back. So we'd have football practice there on Thursdays,
Oh,
for
nice.
my youth football team, because the owners, the kid was on the team, so we'd go there and have our football practice at a winery.
Nice.
Parents
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
They have a big basketball court, play area. They got the pool, which they always have a cover on it, but the kids just rage. So it's perfect. The kids just running everywhere, a bunch of kids, and you watch a concert and enjoy some wine. So that's why we're like, yeah, let's just be members here. This is perfect. It's close.
so you drink you prefer wine now more than beer?
No, I'm a beer drinker,
Yeah.
but I'll drink wine. Like we get a nice bottle of something and I'll sip on it, but that's more my wife's forte. Yeah.
Now, being that you were coming up here, you're distributing when you were living down in San Diego.
Yep.
How do you compare, like, say, the Firestones, the Silvas, the barrel houses compared to like some of the IPAs and the heavier beers?
Wildfields.
Yeah, they're very
Wildfield-
comparable. honestly.
Wildfields is really good.
So
oh my gosh.
Wildfields, Ryan was actually, he was with Lost Abbey,
Yeah,
right?
he worked at Lost Abbey.
Yeah, which was a San Diego brewery.
It was a Belgian like they have a lot of Belgian styles.
Yeah, like
And
a lighter.
he's actually well known in the brewing industry. So the Brewers Association does the World Beer Cup, and then there's also the
They win
big one
awards.
at-
Wildfields wins.
They've
awards.
won the
He's
last
won
like
gold
2
medal.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brown Ale, I think a couple of the other ones.
I
Sorry.
actually was there at the Denver Brewers Association big conference, the CBC, and he won an award. I was like, oh, Wildfields, that's where my brother's from. This was when I was still in the industry. I didn't live up here, but So it's cool.
And you know that they're opening a lakeside tap room at the Tascadero Lake.
Wildfields is?
So they just applied for their permit. So the little boathouse where they rent boats. So they're going to rent boats and pour beer on the little patio there.
Great idea.
Yeah, so it'll be a little Wildfields Lakeside. I don't know if that's what they're calling it. Jackie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think
Will they be open before Winefest?
I don't know. I would assume that they'd like to be open for the summer. So there's an application on the window.
Oh, no kidding. That's a great
I'll
idea.
look into it and get back to you.
You know what? It's funny that now where you're at with the Tascadero with your business, you got the real estate. You got is it called Peak Real Estate?
Peak Realty.
It is called Peak Realty.
Peak Painting, Peak Realty.
Peak Realty, Peak Painting.
Yeah.
So, but Tascadero is just a unique area.
It is.
It's a very there's so many different. There's that little pool. You're on the city council. I think they should get that little pool going for the kids again. That's right in front of, to the left of the pier.
Yeah.
Right there. There's a little concrete pool that's probably 2 feet deep.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know the history of that pool per se. But the high school this summer, the public will be back in the new high school pool for community swim during the week.
Okay.
So the new high school pool that was finished last April, we didn't use it last summer, but this summer there will be swim lessons. There will be open swim for families at a very nominal fee just to pay at cost for lifeguards. And then they'll have the water polo, the swim teams will go there. We also have water polo clubs that are non-school affiliated, but kind of like a soccer league. It's water polo. So everyone's going to be using the pool, but in the summer, the pool will be open to the public for a couple, 2-3 hours during the day for a family swim. And then there'll be, senior lap swimming and all these different windows of activities at the new high school pool.
Well, Seth, this is good because now we get a little bit of understanding of the painting, little understanding of the realty, and we get to hear the insights of what's happening in there at Tascadero. Because I'd have Terry and Lorelai on, all the time.
Yeah.
And Lorelai's she's on the brink of giving me the news.
I got stuff that I wish I could tell you that are coming, but I'll have to wait.
Yeah.
I'll have to come back on. It's exciting what's happening in Tascadero. There's some awesome businesses coming to Tascadero. There's a lot of promise. The downtown road project has been a lesson in patience for a year.
That's almost done.
And that's been in the works since I think 2017 when they initially first rubber stamped it. So it's been a long time coming. There's a lot of the public is wait and see. Some people don't like it. Some people love it. The businesses are, there's a lot of businesses really are looking forward to it that are downtown, and some are getting tired of the traffic and the dirt and the lack of business. So we're waiting for that ribbon cutting at the end of June. I think it's June 27th. We're, as a city, going to be cutting the ribbon on that and completing it. But there's a lot coming down the pike in Tascadero, and we're the little city that could. We're working on a slim budget compared to other cities in the county, and we're very balanced in our approach, and we have a really high retention rate with our staff. Our police staff, we have no open vacancies. All officers are filled, so that's a great thing, and we have a good retention rate with all city staff.
So Seth, with the city, what exactly do you do? What's your position? What do you field?
I'm a elected city council person.
Okay.
So there's the mayor, and then there's 4 city council people. So there's 5 on the council, including the mayor. I serve on the finance committee. I serve on the city schools committee. So we'll meet next week. We meet with a couple school board members, and then a couple of us council people, the city manager and the superintendent, someone from the superintendent's office. We meet just to kind of get the information between the school, because the school district is not run by the city, right? So it's just a way to get on the same page about what's going on in town between the schools and the city, and just work through discussions and whatever. And then the finance committee, we're going over budget, but just in general, we have a couple city council meetings a month, second and fourth Tuesday of the month, open to the public. Public comments encouraged, and just depends on what the issue of the day is. My first big vote I had when I came in December, I was voted in November election. I was sworn in December because it took a while to count votes, about a month to count all the votes here in the county.
Was it close?
It was close relative to the populations. There's 19,000 registered voters in Atascadero. I think I was 1,000 votes ahead of losing. So I mean that's substantial enough for me to feel like we did a good job campaigning. We ran a clean race. Nobody I was running against, no smear campaigns, no name calling. It was nice and civil. And it was 2 seats that were awarded this year out of 3 people running. And so I was happy that it went my way, and I put a lot of effort in for a number of months. But the first big vote that we had was to rubber stamp the new fire station, because our fire station in downtown, Fire Station 1, is original. It's very dilapidated. And so we're going to be building a new fire station there, and then remodeling Station 2.
Because you guys are taking that one down.
We're putting
and they're moving over to the armory or something.
We're buying modular trailers. We're buying modular trailers to put over there, and the state's leasing us those grounds for relatively nothing. So we're working on talking to Sacramento about selling the armory to us so we can expand the park, expand Colony Park, maybe put some parking in there for downtown for the future printery building perhaps, but also just maybe another ball field right there at Colony Park, because the armory is such a prime location to expand that park, and our city could use more ball fields and
it backs right up to that.
Yeah. So we're kind of talking. We were in Sacramento 3 weeks ago, talking to Senator Laird, our senator, and just saying, and he was familiar with the armory. There's only 7 armories in the state that are abandoned and could be for sale. And historically, they've said any state property that's no longer used can be sold to a municipality or a developer if it's turned into affordable housing, or in order to fill your requirement as a city for affordable housing. But we have such a weird density issue in Atascadero, and if we don't have a developer that comes along and says they want to do it, then it just sits vacant. But we do have a major need for parks. So trying to figure out how we can buy the armory as a city so we can expand our park system.
Wow, that's good information.
Just a little thing that we're working on behind the scenes. It's not guaranteed, but there's people that are listening.
It makes sense though.
People are listening up in there's an assembly bill right now. Some assembly people are authoring it. They're all veterans. So the armory sale in the state, it's near and dear to them. They're like, why are we holding on to this property when cities can use it for other purposes? So that's in the works right now on the state level to make it available to purchase.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that information, because that's makes a lot of sense. And that place has been an eyesore for years and years and years.
When I moved here, it was still they still had Humvees and everything there. Like they still were storing vehicles there in the parking lot. It wasn't that long ago that they completely abandoned it.
Yeah, now there's broken windows, and it looks like
asbestos. You can't use. They won't let us use the inside of the building. That's why we had to buy the trailers, because it's basically condemned.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's why there's no events in there anymore. Okay.
Yep. They used to have like the coats for kids, like Rotary Club would do the coats for kids.
Used to have a haunted house there.
That was 3 years ago. They said no more occupying the building.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, Seth, you're a plethora of information for a Atascadero. So we got to have you on like every month.
Yeah.
So if I can get you and Lorelei on the same time.
Or me and Jim Lewis, the city manager, he would probably be happily come on.
Absolutely.
I just voluntold you.
There you go.
But before we keep going, you mentioned wineries. I don't drink wine, but our friend Ultima Thule, Cameron in Tin City, I wanted to bring you a bottle of the Syrah from Edna Valley, one of the vineyards, the Jesperson vineyard. But he's right there in Tin City next to Edo Pasta Bar. He's the artist, he's the owner, and he's the winemaker. And from what I hear, Ryan's had it. It's excellent wine.
Awesome, thank you.
I love passing that out to our clients and friends. So enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll do like a. Like I said, I'm starting to get to wine. Probably not, as good as you as far as your palate, my palate, anyways. But I can taste a good wine versus not so good. I know wines I don't like. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Right on.
Well, awesome, guys. This was awesome, man. I love the information. And once again, Peak Painting, Pink Realty.
PEEK painting.com.
Okay. And so that's how people find you. PEEK painting.com.
Yeah, peakpainting.com. If you search it and you misspell it, our Google presence, you'll still find us. It'll still say, "Did you mean Peak Painting?" So,
but I want to stress the most important part is you have a 48-hour guaranteed.
There will be a time slot available to you to book a quote 48 business hours from when you go on the website.
So right now,
if there's nothing available, all you do is call the office and be like, I don't see appointment available. I need it done tomorrow, and we will be there.
What happens if you can't get one in 48 hours?
There's
bottle of wine?
there's 3 of us that
No,
we
because
can make it
Seth
happen.
or I will step in. Like, I'll squeeze it into my schedule.
Quotes, we do quotes too. Eric does all the sales mostly right now, but we still do them as well. And so there's no chance that you won't get 1 in 2 business days.
Well, I think that's really important today in today's world because everything is, please leave your name and somebody will get back to you.
No, this is like Uber. You go there and you pick the day, you pick the time, you fill out your information, and it is on the calendar. It's tied to a Google calendar. It's not like, we'll see if it's available.
So you're actually putting
you pick when you want.
Oh, you're not just saying, hey, I want it this time.
You don't have to talk to anybody.
You're putting your information
and we
into
show up
this.
when you say.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
You tell us when you want us there, and we show up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No back and forth.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Peakpainting.com.
Got it.
Awesome. Ryan, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Randy.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Good to see you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming on, guys.
I'll get you a glass at the Nest next time, okay?
Yeah. Please, yes. Yeah, my fork kept breaking every time I was trying to get into my salad.
That's awesome.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Hey, if you guys need your house interior or exterior, Peak Painting is the place. Peakpainting.com, 805-835-7121. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsor. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Are you tired of looking at that worn-out concrete garage floor, patio, or porch? Look no further than MGP Coatings, where customer service reigns supreme. Our team goes above and beyond to ensure your satisfaction every step of the way. Before we even start coating, we meticulously repair your concrete, ensuring a flawless finish that lasts. And here's the best part. Our Pentec coatings are 4 times stronger than epoxy, so they won't chip or peel, making maintenance a breeze. Plus, they come with a limited lifetime warranty. Call us today at 805-952-5301 or check out our Facebook and Instagram and experience the MGP coating difference. Don't wait. Transform your garage, patio, porch, or driveway and become a part of the MGP coating family.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Hi, this is Omid
and Deanna
at North County Junk Removal. We are a business known for helping our neighbors and our community.
Let us help you save money and get rid of any unwanted items.
And rest assured that our professional team adheres to global standards of safety and recycling. We are fully licensed and insured for your peace of mind.
We are locally owned and operated, and we look forward to helping you with all your junk removal needs.
Please call us at 805-769-6966.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.